Hey there, what's up internet? My name is BlackLightAttack. Only the good die young, and this is episode 40 of Let's Play Final Fantasy VII. So last time we underwent the big plot twist, and we found out Cloud is not exactly who he claims to be. Well, we found that out earlier, that Cloud isn't who he claims to be, but the question was, who was he? We finally had that answered. Cloud confused himself with a friend of his due to... well, God only knows what would cause a man to think that he's another man, but that's actually what we're going to go find out now. How exactly did Cloud, 1, face Sephiroth and live, 2, how did Sephiroth die? And, oh, well, no, I'm sorry, we did see how Sephiroth died, quote-unquote. He actually survived the ordeal. And, 2, we want to know, how exactly did he confuse himself with this Zack guy, who is, by the way, Aeris's ex-boyfriend, if nobody put that together. We visited, let's see, Aeris said, oh, I used to have a boyfriend named Zack. Did you know, when we first met Aeris, she asked, if you were in Soldier, did you ever know somebody named Zack? And Cloud said it didn't ring a bell. The rat's just been dead, and I'm just like, leaving him there. And Cloud said, no, I didn't know anybody named Zack. And then we met these people in Gongaga Village, a man and a woman, who said their son Zack went off and joined Soldier. Well, this Zack guy that kept coming up was actually Cloud's friend, and the guy who Cloud thought he was. So this is actually, I'm actually running through Shinra Mansion right now to trigger an optional scene, and this is actually a cutscene that will occur only once Cloud has discovered himself, and then you walk into the Shinra basement. You can complete the game without ever triggering the cutscene, but this is a little hidden cutscene. It's kind of important, so here we go. Are you ready? Here goes. Because seeing all this equipment is suddenly gonna, now that Cloud knows who he is, it sort of triggers this flashback. So yeah, Cloud and Zack, after fighting with Sephiroth, are found barely alive after having killed Sephiroth, and were brought back. Hey, this is your food. They were brought back to the Shinra basement to be experimented on. And they were basically thrown into these test tubes, which are full of Mako, by the way. These test tubes are chock full of Mako energy. They're just basically bathing them in it. So Zack knocks the fuck out of that guy. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh, and he lets Cloud out. Simple as that. Hey, what's up? Cloud, are you doing okay? I don't know. I've been injected with Genova cells and Mako energy. Oh, good. They left his sword like 2 feet away. That's not very smart. I wonder if they were doing experiments on the sword. He's going to go ahead and drag him out. Now, at this point, keep in mind that Cloud has never been in Soldier. He was only a shitty Shinra grunt. He was basically a red shirt. Zack was. Now... oh, here. Put on this. Put this on might have sounded better. It smells a little though. Don't complain. I think there's supposed to be a period there as well. You look pretty good with that. Well. Here we go. We're on a zoom truck. Hey, how's it go? Oh yay, old guy. Hey, we at Midgar yet? Doesn't look like Midgar. Shut up. You're lucky I even gave you a ride. Fuck you, bud. Man, Zack's got all that hair. Goddamn. What are you gonna do once we get to Midgar? And here's where I brought up that Zack was in Soldier, Cloud was not. Soldier members are already injected with Genova cells and showered in Mako energy. Cloud was just bathed in Mako energy without ever having been exposed to that before. He was in there for I think it's actually 2 years go by that they were stuck in the Shinra Mansion basement. So Cloud is actually in another sort of coma state like he was after he fell into the live stream. So he's basically completely out of it right now. So I know what I'm going to do. Let's see, what am I going to do? I got a place I can crash for a while. Aeris's house. Anybody? No, wait, the mother lives there too. Aeris's mother. Hello? Guess that's out. Womp womp. Yep, gotta change my plans. No matter what I do, I need some money first. Hey, want to start a business? But what could we do? Hey, Cloud. Think there's anything I'd be good at? Hey, old guy, what do you think I'd be good at? I don't know, fucking bitches with your hair. What are you yapping about? You're still young, ain't you? Young folks should try everything. You gotta pay your dues while you're young. Get out and look for what you really want. Try everything. That's easy for him to say. I'm gonna do some squats. Zack does squats kinda like Cloud does squats. Kinda weird. You start to see little bits of Cloud's mannerisms from the past in Zack here. Hey! Of course! I got a lot of brains and skill that other guys don't. That settles it. I'm gonna become a mercenary. Yeah, thanks, Pops. Hey, did you hear what I said? Listen, I'm gonna become a mercenary and that's that. Boring stuff, dangerous stuff, anything for money. I'm gonna be rich. So, Cloud, what are you gonna do? No, wait, you got it all wrong. Cloud's still completely out of it. And just kidding, I won't leave you hanging like that. We're friends, right? Mercenaries, Cloud, that's what you and me are gonna be. Understand, Cloud? Right on. So, that's the little bit that we get. That part's kind of sweet, you know. Zack is taking care of his buddy. Zack's actually a pretty good dude, but we don't know a whole lot about him in this game. That's the thing. So here we go. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh no! Oh no! Gunfires! Uh-oh. Oh, they got him. Oh, right there. Point blank. Oh my god, point blank. Brutal. What do you want to do with him? Forget it. Just leave him. Fuck those dudes. Yeah, I guess they figure Cloud's already kind of dead. They kind of rewrote this in Crisis Core that Cloud was actually... Zack put Cloud somewhere else. Kind of hit him from sight and then fought the Shinra grunts by himself. So let's just crawl on over here. I'm actually not controlling this. But I'll just jack this shit off this dead guy. Finally, Cloud starts to snap to a little bit. And then he's just on the outskirts of Midgar, where his best friend died. And that is how Cloud started to confuse himself with Zack. It's a little bit left unsaid there, but basically what happened there was the trauma of having Zack mowed down right in front of him without being able to do anything due to the comatose state he was in, combined with the fact that he had just been inundated, he had just been basically marinated in Mako energy and Genova cells for the past 2 years, combined with this trauma of losing his friend, made him think he was Zack. Made him think that he was Zack, and that's how Cloud ended up adopting his memories and mixing them with his own. And upon reaching Midgar, which we saw in Tifa's flashback, Tifa found him at the Sector 7 train station with Zack's giant sword in his hand, kind of comatose. And then as soon as he saw Tifa, all of a sudden he was okay. But obviously not actually okay. And that's where it all comes together. Is that was the little bit of a glimpse at Zack that we get in this game. And so as we can see, even though we don't know a lot about Zack, we've only seen him very, very briefly. We know just enough about him, and despite the fact that we don't know a whole lot about him, he's actually a fairly important character to the backstory of Cloud. So it was kind of natural that they would. Did we say we're going to the underwater reactor? I think so. I think we need the underwater reactor. And then where's the last? There's 4 huge materia. Can't really remember. Either way, we're headed to the underwater reactor. So they decided that since Zack is such an important character, well, we have to make our own game about him, obviously, because this is a character who's very important to the story, but isn't really fully explained. And he didn't need to be, but, you know, it would be nice. Crisis Core seemed like the perfectly logical prequel to make. And by the way, those of you who've been waiting for a long time, this is my big rant on why I don't like Crisis Core. And a lot of people like Crisis Core. They thought it was a pretty good game. Me, personally, I was pretty excited to play it because we've gotten a lot of Final Fantasy VII add-ons. sequels and prequels and stuff, but none of them have ever been very good. So we finally come to Crisis Core, and everybody's saying, oh, this game's actually pretty good. So of course I was really excited to check it out. Turns out, it's a pile of shit. And I'll tell you why I believe so. Now obviously this is just my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. If you like the game, that's fine. And by the way, Cloud, as we run by here, is going to be like, is there something missing here? I don't know. It feels like there's something missing. I may be mistaken, but doesn't it feel like we're missing something? I don't know. What could it be? Could it be the giant fucking cannon, Cloud? Maybe, just maybe. And actually, if you look at the world model of Union, the gun isn't there either, which is pretty cool. Nice little touch. Okay, so my problem with Crisis Core is that being a prequel that explains and sort of explains the backstory and then links to the Final Fantasy VII, it had to basically stick with what was previously established in Final Fantasy VII, right? Or else it's going to open up plot holes. Well, guess what it didn't do, and guess what it did? It opened up plot holes. Big time. Also, this idiot just tells everybody to charge and they turn around and run. I don't know if that's them just being incompetent and following orders, or if they consciously were being cowards and ran away from Cloud and crew. But either way. Oh, I think I forgot to res Red. I think this whole time we've been waiting for Red to not be dead. So here's my problem. In Crisis Core, Cloud and... Oh, wait. Oh, Cloud doesn't have any material on it. That's shitty. Let's see. Do we have a Phoenix down anywhere? So, Phoenix down. There you go. Ready, boy. Oh, Tifa doesn't have any material either. This is just dandy. This is just the absolute best, let me tell you. I must have it on all my other characters. Yeah. Alright, whatever. Just explosion. Not a big deal. Okay. So, upon playing Crisis Core, it becomes very obvious that Zack is one of those characters. He's very much the stereotypical Japanese protagonist. He's Naruto, he's Sora, he's Goku. He's very happy all the time. He's very competitive. He's very strong-willed. But he's endlessly positive, and he's always looking to help anybody who's in need. Which is a very, very, very stereotypical sort of character to have. Which seems like an okay thing, but there's a problem there. There's a problem I take with that. At the beginning of this game, Cloud is a very standoffish person. He's not very nice, right? We've seen what he's like. He's most certainly not a very friendly guy. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. He doesn't care about the fact that the planet is going down. All he wants is his money, and then he's heading out of town, baby. He doesn't care about nothing but himself. Now, where does this? That's a major plot hole. Does nobody? I can't believe more people didn't realize this. That's a huge, huge plot hole. Because Cloud wasn't a nice guy. Like, okay, put it this way: Cloud wasn't being Cloud. Cloud was channeling. Cloud was channeling the person who he thought he was, who was who? Zack. He thought he was Zack. So where does this? If Cloud was basically a weakling, right? If Cloud was a weakling, and Zack was this happy-go-lucky nice guy, basically Naruto. He was basically Sora. I guess most people probably would have played Kingdom Hearts. If he was basically Sora, where the hell did Cloud's personality in the beginning of Final Fantasy VII come from? That's a complete plot. That's just just came out of nowhere. He was just this dick for no reason. He was just based on what was established previously in Final Fantasy VII. Zack should have been a cocky schmuck. He didn't have to be a complete asshole, but he had to at least be a little bit full of himself and a little bit standoffish, a little bit cold, right? He wasn't that at all. So this character that we have Cloud create is all of a sudden completely unfounded, completely just came out of absolutely nowhere. That's a major, major plot hole. There's another plot hole. Now, this one I could have revealed earlier, but I wanted to do all Crisis Core at the same time. But basically, think back to when we discovered Sephiroth in the Shinra Mansion, when he first went insane. The calm flashback, back when Cloud still thought when Cloud was still reliving Zack's memories. He found Sephiroth in the Shinra basement, calling him a traitor and all that, and the one point where he really snapped was in the Nibelheim reactor, when he said, "Was I created this way too?" No, it couldn't be. I couldn't have been created this way. I was trying to say, I think these guys have armor, but I'm not. I'm bored with trying to steal. Fuck that guy. He lost it, right? Because he was, all of a sudden he was like, "Was I created in a lab?" This whole time I always felt different, but I never thought that it could have been something as insane as this, right? So go back to Crisis Core. In Crisis Core, there's a part where Sephiroth is obviously, he's on your side, right? Because he's a member of Soldier 2, and in Crisis Core you play Zack, by the way, if you didn't know this. Zack is the main character of Crisis Core. Cloud is in it, Sephiroth is in it, because they're your comrades. He meets Cloud, and they establish how they became friends before, and I have no issues with that. You know, they sort of bond over this one minor mission where they're both from backwater towns, Nibelheim and Gagaga, respectively. That's fine. But at this point, Zack knows Sephiroth pretty well by the time that he went to Nibelheim with him, and he asks him, what's it like? What's it like being in your hometown again? Oh, actually, I'm sorry, Sephiroth directed that question to Cloud. And here's the thing: there are two other bad guys in Crisis Core who are sort of like Sephiroth's equals. They have Angeal, who is Zack's mentor and the original owner of the Buster Sword, and there is Genesis, who kind of goes crazy, loses his shit, whatever. Let me see. I think I'm good. Let's just save just in case. Angeal has this weird thing where he becomes like a demon, and Genesis is the overall bad guy. He becomes a demon at some point, but it turns out that they both basically were created similarly to Sephiroth, and I can't exactly tell you guys how Sephiroth was created, but let's just say they were created in very similar ways. Sephiroth was created in a similar way to most soldiers, but there's a little bit of a difference, and we'll find that out later when we go and get Vincent's ultimate weapon. So I won't spoil that quite yet. But basically, he was created the same way most soldiers are, with Genova cells. And the thing is, Angeal and Genesis were also created almost in identically the same way. Oh, you know what? Right here, we're actually going to want to put on some morph materia, if we haven't already. We have, let's see, any skill and sense, new, steel, death blow, any skill. Where's my morph at? Does nobody really have morph? Am I crazy? There's something down here that we have to morph that's actually pretty important. Oh, we do have, I'm sorry, Cloud House morph. My bad. Okay. So these two friends, these guys were actually friends of Sephiroth. And not only that, but Sephiroth is known as being the strongest out of all of them. They all know, and this is sort of a unanimous agreement kind of thing, out of the three of them, Sephiroth is by far the strongest. He can take them 2-on-1 in a fight. Oh shit, he's immune. Shit, I don't know how much HP this guy has. And when you find out that these two were basically created in a lab, Sephiroth is sitting there investigating it with you. You investigate these guys' backgrounds. He knows, he's privy to all of this crazy, shady bullshit that's going on in their creation. But never at any point does he sit there and think, wait a minute, maybe I was created in a lab too. It's not until you make it to Nibelheim that this huge shell shock gets to him, and he's like, please don't die. Just barely. You can see how much health he still has, because I need to morph this guy. The thing about morph is morph turns enemies into items, but you can only do it when they're really low on health, because morph deals very little damage. He's close enough. We can hit him with a few morphs. See, it only deals 135 damage. That's why normally using laser is really useful for doing that, but oh well. He's immune to laser. So, what? Oh, he has counterattack on. Fuck. Alright, we're gonna have to find another one of those guys. So at no point does he make this really basic logical connection that, wait a minute, maybe I was created in a lab too. Never. When we get to the Shinra basement, it's still, or I'm sorry, the Nibelheim reactor, it's still a huge shock to Sephiroth, and it's that jarring transition, that sudden realization in Sephiroth's head that, wait a minute, maybe I wasn't just a regular guy. I was basically bred in a lab. And without that without that original shock to Sephiroth's system, I really don't see how exactly we're supposed to believe that this discovery made him go insane. Now, what I'm trying to get at is here that he has two friends that are very close to him. These are his best friends, the only friends Sephiroth has ever had. He's always been a generally pretty cold person, even back when he was a good guy. And he sat there and investigated both of them and discovered their backstories and read the lab notes about how they were created in a lab. And he is stronger than both of them. They were all bred for battle, and he, out of all three of them, is the strongest. And never at any point did he sit there and say, wait a minute, maybe something's up. So either we're to believe that Sephiroth, who is bred for battle, is most likely a tactical genius, is just a fucking idiot, or we are supposed to, who, by the way, read through every single book in the Shinra Mansion in like a week. And, you know, very advanced scientific research. He read through and understood all of it. So either that guy is dumb, or that's a plot hole because the people who wrote Crisis Core have no idea what they're doing. And those are the two major plot holes that I have a problem with. There are a couple other things that aren't exactly plot holes that I take issue with. One, I don't like the fact that they basically glorified Soldier, because Soldier's the bad guys. I know that Cloud used to be one and all, and Zack was a pretty good guy who was a soldier. You know, for all we know, he was a pretty alright guy. Sephiroth was supposed to be pretty good before he snapped. But the fact is that Soldier went around basically oppressing people. They are the bad guys here, and they decided that Shinra was a great source for all of these prequels to be made. They just wanted all these games to be about Shinra. We had Before Crisis, which was all about the Turks, and then we had Crisis Core, which was all about members of Soldier. And they really, really ham it up. They really romanticize Soldier. When Angeal gives Zack the Buster Sword, he tells him, never, like, remember your honor as Soldier. Hold your honor as Soldier above all else. And they really hammer that home, and they say it without any sort of second guessing. They say it without any sense of irony. It's very much supposed to be a serious point. But that's like creating, this is Shinra we're talking about here. These are not good people. The first thing you're doing is fighting a war in Wutai where you're oppressing rebels who are standing up to your horrible, horrible regime. This is like saying, remember your pride is the Gestapo, and we're supposed to put our hands over our hearts and be like, yes, Gestapo, I love you. No, you don't do that. These are the bad guys. Even the Turks, like, I understand that the Turks aren't, you know, they just follow orders. They're not exactly bad guys. They're just doing their jobs. But so were the fucking Nazis. That doesn't make them any better. You don't sympathize with the Nazis just because they were people doing their jobs. They fucked up. They were the established bad guys. They should continue to be the bad guys. Now that's just me taking offense to the direction they took it in, and at the end of the day, obviously it's their game and they can do whatever they want. But the two giant plot holes, in my opinion, still stand as major fuck-ups. Those are two huge oversights that I have some serious problems with. There are a couple of other problems I have with the franchise in general, or I'm sorry, not the franchise, but that title in general. It's just, in my opinion, the story was shit. Zack and this whole thing with this other guy, what's his name, Genesis, that's a huge bit of plot unto itself. It only ties into Final Fantasy VII very briefly at the end there. And actually, you know, hold it, before I continue this, I'm going to get this guy morphed who I need morphed. Okay, so I finally got the guidebook. That's what it looks like when you morph something. We'll be doing that a bit more later in the game. Morph often does not come into play until later in the game, but morph is pretty handy. It deals very little damage, but if you manage to kill something with it, it often turns into an item. Only certain enemies can be morphed. But anyway, guidebook, pretty useful item, and that has to do with one of the optional bosses. We'll worry about that later. So anyway, what I was saying about Crisis Core, I have a major issue with the story. I just don't think it's very well done. The main antagonist, Genesis, first of all, his design is, he's just red Sephiroth with short hair. He looks exactly like Sephiroth with short red hair instead of long silver hair, and he's wearing a red overcoat instead of Sephiroth's black overcoat. That's it. Other than that, they're like identical. He's just the lamest villain like ever. He's awful. He's obsessed with a play in the world of Final Fantasy VII called Loveless, which he's obsessed with it. It's the only part of his character. Loveless is the entirety of his character. And it's kind of neat because if you look in the opening cutscene, there's actually like a billboard for Loveless in the very opening cutscene of Final Fantasy VII, and that's where they got the idea of this little. And also in the one screen where you see Aeris right after you bomb the first reactor, there are posters for this play Loveless, and that's where they got the idea that Loveless is an actual play within the world, and that they were going to develop it and make it, I guess, every little bit about Genesis Rhapsodos. Every single time he is on screen, he quotes Loveless to some degree. And this is the kind of writing we're talking about here. My soul, corrupted by vengeance, hath endured torment to find the end of the journey in my own salvation and your eternal slumber. Every single fucking time this character is on screen, he says some contrived-ass bullshit like that. Every single time. And people wonder why I don't like this fucking character. He is awfully written. Like, here's another. I actually have quotes of, while I was grinding out that Morph guy, I was also looking up shitty quotes from Genesis because he's a pile of garbage. Let's see, here's another one. Infinite in mysteries, the gift of the goddess. We seek it thus and take it to the sky. Ripples form on the water's surface. The wandering soul knows no rest. And everybody else talks normally. This isn't like fucking, this isn't normal in this world. Everybody else talks to each other. This guy just starts spouting off this old English bullshit, and that's the only form of communication this guy has. It's like he's autistic or something. It's really fucked up. Honestly, it's just really, really poorly written. I really cannot stand this character. I was gonna do the Power Soul thing with Tifa, but I'm just gonna put a regular weapon on her for this fight. You know what? I kind of wish I hadn't done that. I'll Power Soul it. I decided after the fact. Steel, Death Blow. Oh, this is good. I actually need Death Blow and Ad Cut to be linked. So yeah, that's a pretty big reason I don't like that game, is because it's bad. It's poorly written. The gameplay is actually somewhat solid. It works. It's very Kingdom Heartsy, but it's way more simplistic than Kingdom Hearts. There's very little complexity to it. There are a lot of attacking options, but it all just amounts to mashing the same button over and over. It's pretty boring. But it's not bad enough to say that the game is bad based on it. Carries the gameplay, the gameplay carries the story well enough, I should say. It's just that there's nothing very good to be carried because it's a shit game. I don't know if this magic breath will kill them in one hit. Let's find out. Will you die? Good boys. Okay, now we're gonna hurt Tifa a little bit. Yeah, give me your cannon. Give me your 8-incher, baby. I just reached into that guy's pants and pulled out an 8-incher. That item I just thought was called 8-inch cannon. Baby. So, yeah, that's a major problem I have. I really hate Genesis as a character. I just think he's really generally very awful. It's just overall I feel that the gameplay, the story that was original to Crisis Core was not very good. I feel like every single new character they added was very contrived and shitty. And that's obviously my opinion. I've talked to a few people on the interwebs who really like Genesis. I honestly do not know how, but you know, that's, you know, different strokes, different folks. I'm not too worried about it. Ooh, these guys I think we can steal new armor from. I'm not positive. Let's go ahead and X-Potion with Cloud. Because Cloud's just putting all the damage on himself. Cloud, no! Cloud, no! Cloud, why is this guy shooting so much? Why are you shooting so much? What the fuck, man? That was absurd. Oh, Tifa's supposed to have the curse ring. I have to run back to the save point, actually. God damn it, Cloud. Fine, fuck it. Just Omni Slash. I don't care if they have an armor, because it's probably shit. Unless they're dead already. Never mind. So I'm gonna run back. I'm gonna run back to the save point in PHS so I can get the curse ring back from. I think Sid has it. We're gonna need that. So yeah, Crisis Core, in my opinion, is really not a good game. It's not worth playing. It opened up plot holes, and all the new characters that it added to the storyline, in my opinion, are really poorly written and not really sympathetic. They don't make sense to anybody who's an actual person. You know, it doesn't. If you understand how people actually talk to each other, then the characters aren't good. Very much my opinion, yes, perhaps, but that's just what I'm saying. In my opinion, it's bullshit. It's a terrible game, and those are the major reasons. In my opinion, it could never be a good game, unless they actually got somebody who knew how to write it. Because honestly, it feels like it was written by somebody who has only watched people from afar from binoculars and just kind of guessed at what they were saying, and that's how he thinks human interaction goes. That's just like the whole like this guy recites poetry as his only form of communication. I might have thought that was cool character design when I was in like junior high, like to be fair, but I'm 25, so I'm a little bit past that. It's a really bad game. Please don't play it. Although, you know what? To be fair, you know, form your own opinions, and if you're a fan of Final Fantasy VII, you've never gotten around to Crisis Core, go ahead and play it. Form your own opinion, and let me know what you think about it. And if you play Crisis Core, feel free to chime in and tell me what you think of the game. But in my opinion, it's shit. And that's what I have to say about that. So I'm actually going to keep Red 13 right now. Normally at this point in the game, I'd usually be running with Sid, but I was just making sure that I had everybody's accessories unequipped. Yeah, okay, we're good. Alright guys, so that's going to be it. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to head out here, and next time we're going to get the big materia, the huge materia that we are after. We're hungry for that huge materia, and we gonna get what's ours. And don't forget to leave me a like if you did indeed enjoy the video, and I will see you all next time.